What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have an Iceberg game against the leader Z. That's not the way I want to start that. What's up, everybody? Today we have a shorter video. It's a gameplay video. I will be running Iceberg and we're going up against Z. This was an interesting matchup. The Iceberg deck is an interesting deck in general. It's different. I'm not too familiar with Purple, though I know Iceberg doesn't run like typical Purple. It's not like Kaido, but the concept of having to like Dawn -1 and then other cards that can bring back Dawn and things like that. The Dawn manipulation, essentially. It's something I'm not used to, so there will be a compilation video tomorrow on this with different gameplay. Just some losses, some wins. Overall, it's a really fun deck. Cheating out a 5-cost first, second turn is crazy, and in general, we're about to go ahead and jump into this game here. So I do decide to go second. I've kind of learned it's a little bit more optimal, honestly. The Kokoro that's in hand here, you're gonna use pretty much to look for your stage card that lets you rest it, and then you return a rested Dawn to your your Dawn field. The Ultimortar I didn't end up really using. I thought it was going to come in handy. I went through a few different iterations of this deck, and I just didn't do the math of, it's a 1 cost, then you have to Dawn -2. So now, as you see, we use the Kokoro to get the Gallery La Company. I'm not saying it correctly. So, and Iceberg, essentially, you rest the leader, give up 1 Dawn back to the Dawn deck, and you can play a 5-cost or lower Gallery Company character. So the 6-drop Luffy there is really cool. You play it. It's not it can't be cheated out with Iceberg because it's a 6-cost and it doesn't have Gallery Company on it. But if you can play it down, you can discard a 5-cost character and it gains rush. So going first can be like beneficial because your Kokoro is a 1-drop, but going second, you can utilize that extra Dawn to cheat out a character. Anyways, we're gonna cheat out Tillstone, I think is his name, and on KO you return you get a Dawn from your Dawn deck. So 6k, 5-cost, really good stat line. So I wasn't sure what to expect going up against Z, because I know Z can be a powerhouse late game in this deck that I'm using. Though it does cheat out stuff pretty fast to get to something like the Luffy, it can be a little bit of a rough spot. Of course, this is my first time playing the deck, not like the first time playing the deck. I had been playing for a little bit before this game, but I'm still learning the ins and outs of it. So I just thought this game in particular kind of showed the way the deck could work, at least to my knowledge, to the best of its ability. Of course, I'm sure there are cards I should be running, cards that should be cut, like the Ultimortar. I will be cutting the Ultimortar. So Dawn 1 on attack with Pepe Lulu, you get to return a Dawn from your Dawn deck to your Dawn area, or you get to add a Dawn, I guess is the better way to put it. They counter out with the Garp. I'm going to go ahead and swing 6. They're already at 4 life because they're dual color, but they do counter out of that with the X-Drake, but they're already down to 4 cards as well. And our hand is looking pretty good. Using the stage with Iceberg is it pretty much mitigates the going negative on a Dawn, because you use Iceberg to send 1 back, play out a 5-cost, rest your stage, get the one that you just sent back to your Dawn area. So it's like essential. It's an essential combo for the deck. Rob Lucci, when attacking Dawn -1, you can tap one of your opponent's character with a cost of 3 or less, I believe it is. Maybe it's 4. I can't remember off the top of my head. So we let him take out the 5-cost character there so we can get the Dawn. and hopefully go into the Luffy next turn, I believe. The ulti mortar I thought I would use, but if I use the ulti mortar, then I'm not going to be able to get the Luffy out, which the Luffy's kind of what you want to go for, because you cheat the Luffy out. Not cheat the Luffy out. You get the Luffy out. Yeah, it's 5 or less. But you get the Luffy out, use the card action, return 1 Dawn, give up a 5-cost character, specifically a 5-cost character. That is one thing that I kept getting hung up on. I thought it was 5 or lower. It's 5 costs specifically. You swing with Lucci, throw a Dawn back, rest their blocker so they can't, block off your attack. And then from there, they will counter out. And they just keep using a lot of their counter sources. I do swing with the Kokoro here onto their Rosinante just to get it off the board. Kokoro is not going to really be able to do anything else. It's already served its purpose of searching. And sometimes those little bodies can be helpful, but, use them when you can. We're going to use the Luffy here, and I just figured go ahead and get rid of the Magellan. I know it's going to neg me 2 Dawn, but, it is what it is. Eventually, I was going to have to deal with it anyways. So, as you can see, I'm definitely probably giving up a little bit too much on my Dawn count, but it does and it doesn't matter because of the way Iceberg works. So they get rid of the Kokoro, it's whatever. The Brenu's finally rested. We can deal with that next turn. And if I'm correct, I do deal with it next turn. And then from here, they're going to swing with their leader. I believe I'm fine with taking this. We just get another Lucci. Triple Lucci. It's not bad. They do bring down the Isho, which can be a little bit of a problem. 8 drop, 9 cost. On play, if your opponent has 6 more cards, they get to trash 2 cards. Luckily, we were only at 5. And then also with Dawn -1, or not Dawn -1. Dawn 1 on Isho, I believe it gives all your opponent's characters like -2 to their cost. Sorry, I'm a bit all over the place. It's early while I'm filming this. And so from here, we're going to go ahead and get the Queen out. It's a blocker. It will help us survive, hopefully, another turn and get some cards to hand. And the ulti mortar it's not helping, so I might as well just use it for fodder at that point. And I'm trying to decide where exactly I want to place this Dawn. So we're going to return a Dawn. Actually, that was a misplay. I thought I was going to use it for the Brenu, but I forgot the Brenu was already rested. So we did return a Dawn for no reason. That was a misplay on my end. No card action here. We're just swinging, trying to take as much life as we can this turn. That's the downside of Iceberg, and something I'm still getting used to is the leader cannot attack. It's got a busted ability, but to balance it, it is the first leader in the One Piece TCG that has the limitation of it cannot attack. So, but I think it it's cost -3 for Isho. Sorry. I think it's a fair balance. I think once you kind of learn how to utilize the stage card with the leader, it's a fair balance. Iceberg's crazy. I look forward to playing this deck a lot more. Purple, I've tried to play decks here and there, and it's just, for me, it's not a play style I'm very fond of. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just not fond of it. But no, yeah, I really like this deck. So we traded out a Lucci to save the Lucci on the field, so we don't have to wait a turn and all that jazz. We draw into the Gum Gum Jet Gatling, which is a really cool card. Pretty much it's a 3k counter, but you do have to trash one from your hand. But with having 2 copies of the stage, it's fine. We have things we can trash without really having any issues. I will say there was a game I played where it was kind of cheeky, where I used the stage card, returned a Dawn, and then played out another copy of the stage card and got an extra Dawn back. So that is a thing you can do. If I think I didn't have any characters to cheat out with Iceberg, so I ended up getting 2 extra Dawn on that turn to use for the follow-up turn. But it was really just me playing catch-up more than anything. So we do use the Lucci here to get around Borsellino. This is really important when going against black. You can use the Lucci to tap their Borsellino so that they can't use it as a powerhouse against you. And I tapped it so that I could swing 11 at Isho, and they would have to give up 2 cards if they wanted to save Isho. I think they're set up pretty well here, but at the same time, I mean, I have a 6K blocker, 2 6K swingers, and a 7K swinger. I have a pretty established board, though with black, it is easy to like reduce the cost and get things out of there. Z's leader ability is really crazy. It's like Dawn -4, and you can KO a character. I forget exactly what the cost is. I think it's 4 or less. It's been a while since I played Z, and I only played a few games with Z, so. They're going to swing with the Kuzan and give one of the Luccis -4. And I believe we're going to try to save this Lucci because we know the other. No, we're taking a chance. Okay. I think I would have saved that Lucci there. To be honest with you, I should have. So Z's going to attack, and I believe this is where they pop off the ability for the first time in the match. KO character with cost of 3 or less, and he gains 1K, but I counter out here. And at this point, they, I guess, assumed I had more bigger things in my hand, and so they just gave up. They conceded. So I do think I could have taken that easily. They didn't have any blockers, but I'm going to assume their hand was full of dead cards. You know, Sakazuki's, Kuzan's. If they would have had plenty of counters, they wouldn't have conceded. I just don't see it happening. So I think it's a fair win. It could have gone different ways, but I did have the Jet Gatling if I needed to get out of it, and also I had cards for fodder for the Jet Gatling, as well as a Hell's Judgment if I would have gone into next turn, and then, you know, all that good stuff. So I hope you enjoyed the video today. I know it was a little bit weird and I was a little bit all over the place. I do apologize for that. It's early. I'm just now having my first coffee. So I try not to be too out of it when I do these videos like this, but today it was just, it's been a rush. So if you like what you saw, hit the like button. It helps get us out to new eyes. And if you're a pair of those new eyes that is just now seeing the channel for the first time, why don't you hit the subscribe button? It'll help us grow the community, and that's ultimately what we want to do. Grow, learn, become better at One Piece. So until the next one, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you later. Peace.